I got into a tweet fight with the French ambassador who denied that there are any such things as no-go zones, except on the French, official website, it says there are, and it actually has a map of them. So, and in Britain, it's not just no-go zones. There are actual cities like Birmingham that are totally Muslim, where non-Muslims just simply don't go in. And parts of London, there are actually Muslim religious police that actually beat and actually wound seriously anyone who doesn't dress according to Muslim, religious Muslim attire. So there's a situation that Western Europe is not dealing with.
Would you like to laugh?
It's so funny. Oh my god.
That's just stupid. Americans have just no perception.
What exactly is being said in that video?
It was about a guy basically saying that Birmingham was just full of Muslims. Basically.
It's about some person's view on how Islam is affecting Britain.
Yeah.
He's basically saying that there's apparently such a high concentration of Muslims now in places like Birmingham and London that people that aren't Muslim are now at threat from discrimination or violence.
We're not allowed to visit Birmingham.
No, I stop just outside of Birmingham because I think
they have to build everything around Birmingham so
yeah.
we can.
So you're telling me.
Around.
So you're telling me that isn't true?
It's not true at all.
Is that true about Birmingham?
No.
No, I know.
I have
quite
friends who live there who are
I'm-
white.
I don't think that's strictly true.
I just love the woman's reaction nonetheless. She was so confused.
For the third time, I was just watching the woman's face because the woman's eyes kept getting wider and wider. I watched like the whole of it. It's
Really?
so ridiculous.
Have you ever been to Birmingham?
Yeah,
I've been twice.
I have actually. Yeah,
I have.
It's
I don't
so
remember,
nice.
but I think I have.
They do have quite concentrated areas of Muslim society
That's
because
because it's a
that's
community.
just how it's grown up. But the whole of Birmingham is not Muslim.
I think if you were to ask someone, oh, what's the most stereotypical Muslim area of Britain, they would say Birmingham or Bradford, but when you go there, you don't really notice it so much.
My friend lives in Bradford and I've been to her house plenty of times,
And did you feel threatened
No.
there, or like you shouldn't be there?
the part where she lived was lovely, and we went to the other side of Bradford to go shopping, and it was different, but I didn't feel scared at all.
Okay, why do you think someone would say this on a national news programme if it's clearly not true?
It's almost like it's kind of, I hate to say it, but it's almost partially America's ignorance.
I think they're trying to perpetuate a sort of fear.
Most American people that go on the news are either idiotic or have some stupid
Isn't
belief.
that a bit?
No, but it's about, you look through the television laws in America, they're a lot more liberal in the sense that you're allowed to express your opinion a lot more. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but you don't have to force your opinion down the throats of other people.
How do you think Americans would feel watching that news report?
If you saw it on like TV, you kind of assume that news report would be vaguely
correct.
Might believe it.
Yeah, I think that they would believe it because it was on the news. You know, if you thought about it rationally and you knew about stuff, then you obviously wouldn't. But if you had no other information about either cities in England,
they just lap it up and believe it and be like, oh, these
and
Muslims.
it does sound quite scary and quite threatening and quite close. And
If someone was watching this and one of their family members or close friends had been killed in 9/11, they'd probably agree with the fact that it's wrong that there's suddenly massively Muslim dense populations spreading across Britain.
I think if you had any kind of common sense, you probably wouldn't believe it, but Americans.
Does it make you think about the news that we get in this country about foreign countries that we're not familiar with? They could tell us anything.
Kind of.
kind of, I don't know, I can't particularly recall anything that was of meaning like this that was told about a different country that could have been untrue.
Yeah. I think there must be some biases in our news because obviously they're based politically. So if all our political parties are against a certain race or something, then probably if they do anything wrong, they might over-exaggerate.
We do still have stuff like that in our media and in our press if you look at certain certain newspapers perhaps have tendencies to perhaps not take it quite as far, but you do have to, when you watch stuff like that, you have to realise that everything that you do comes through a filter of what people are trying to say or like their own.
And I think more of our media try to say things for shock, so maybe they don't do as much research and be like, oh, I think this could possibly happen, let's roll with that story because that'll make people listen.
Probably about like obesity in America. They probably, I mean, obviously it's still an issue there, but kind of the media probably kind of big it up partially to kind of go, oh, America, it's big and fat. That's so harsh.
Double cheeseburgers.
That's so harsh.
Did you notice which news station this was from?
Fox News.
Fox, yeah.
Fox News.
Fox.
That was from Fox News. Do you know anything about Fox News?
Only little
I know
bits.
bits
And they're mostly not good things.
They have tendencies to be rather right-wing.
Incredibly biased.
They're more of a tabloidy kind of news thing than more... the news that they talk about on there isn't really pressing news, and when it is, it's not really factual pressing news, it's opinions about pressing news.
In 2014, Fox News was the most watched news network in the USA, and it's owned by an American-Australian business magnate and media mogul. Do you know the name of the man who owns it?
No.
Do you know the name of the man who owns it?
Murdoch.
That's right.
Wait, Rupert Murdoch?
Yes.
Really?
Very much influential across the whole
world.
Media platforms.
Yeah.
This week, Rupert Murdoch tweeted, "Maybe most Muslims peaceful, but until they recognise and destroy their growing jihadist cancer, they must be held responsible." How do you feel about that statement?
I think that's a bit prejudiced.
How do you feel about that statement?
I think that's
calling it cancer is just breeding around for absolute discrimination, saying it's some kind of disease.
It's pretty outrageous to just stereotype a whole community of people on a couple of people's actions. I think that's a bit wrong.
If a Muslim person commits an act of terrorism, suddenly all Muslims are terrorists. If a black person shoots someone, suddenly all black people crazy gunmen. If a white Christian person shoots someone, he's a lone wolf. He's someone that doesn't follow the norm.
And every type of religion has extremists.
And put it
Well,
one
not
way.
every religious
Put
person
it
is
one
an
way. The
extremist.
big
He is in such an influential position that anything he says, he's got to understand that it has consequences, because a lot of people will believe things that he says because, you know, he's the head of a big news agency. And so I think maybe he should, I don't know, any strong opinions that he has maybe should be thought over before he decides to announce them to the world.
You need some new advisors.
So, how do you feel about Rupert Murdoch owning such a large share of the world's media, including two British newspapers, The Sun and The Times?
Yeah, it's both of them. Oh,
I don't read either of them.
I won't read Weatherby News.
And I don't think there should be one person in control of the majority of the media. If anything, there should be a committee of as diverse a committee as you can possibly have that all agree on what news stories are important, what stories the people need to know about, and then also what stories the people would like to know about, because the news is an entertainment as well as, in a sense, an educational kind of thing. It's what happened in Nazi Germany, because Hitler's rise to power was because he made everyone else the enemy. He only showed news stories that discriminated everyone else that wasn't either Aryan or a pure-blooded German who wasn't gay, wasn't a Jew, and wasn't homeless and wasn't disabled. He controlled the media, and that, I mean, everyone knows what that led to. It led to the Holocaust.
You have to be aware when you are reading the media of, like, you know, who's producing it, and especially like what other things they would have to gain by publishing certain information or propagating certain information, and you have to think about that it's actually being produced by a person that will probably have ulterior motives.
I think those things should be quite even and level-headed and shouldn't be that opinionated. I think it should inform people, but I don't think he should have the right to it, to have that strong views. He should be allowed to broadcast his views all over the Western Hemisphere.